Good morning, Aston. This is ChampTalk. I'm Brendan Bosky.
I'm Renzo Garone.
And we're talking some NFL draft today. With the first round of the NFL draft last night, if you aren't alive and don't look at your phone at all, that's what was up. So we're going to talk about some of the picks, some Dynasty talk about it, and a little bit more. Renzo, you want to get into some of the news and notes from around the league?
Yeah, this past week we saw a lot of money being dropped on some All-Stars. The three big names, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra, and Penei Sewell. Two of those being on the Detroit Lions, obviously, Amon-Ra and Sewell.
Paying their guys.
Yep, and then you have A.J. Brown and the Eagles. So let's start with A.J. Brown. They just signed this, 2 days ago, a day ago?
Yeah, yesterday.
3-year, $96 million, $84 million guaranteed.
Yeah. We're seeing the next wave of wide receiver contracts just going out the door. And, these are two guys who are very deserving of all the money they're going to get from here on out.
Absolutely.
You're really talking about two of the top 5 wide receivers, grouping in Amon-Ra too.
Yeah.
And A.J. Brown might be one of the most dominating wide receivers in the league right now. So him getting that money is not a concern to me. He deserves every amount of it. It's just, are they going to use him?
Yeah, now they just have to
they finally got a good offensive coordinator where I think they do actually make good use of him.
Yeah, I think they can pull it off because now that, A.J. Brown, I'm not saying he had pressure on him before, but now that he has that money behind him, he knows he's there. Signed through 2029. It's 2024. He signed through 2029 because it's a 3-year extension.
Brown?
Yeah.
And he already had 3 years, right?
Yeah, A.J. Brown.
Did they rework his current deal? Or
I think that's what it was. I saw a report saying he's signed through 2029.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Unless I'm just totally making that up.
No, you might be right.
But, the fact that...
That's crazy if that's what it is.
Yeah, he's now under contract to 2029, and his total guarantee of $84 million is also the highest.
Jeez.
Yeah, so they have him locked down.
That's like, if that's a 3-year extension on top of it, it's not as much money. Like, I know it's a lot of money, but by then, either wide receivers are probably going to be making that much anyways.
Yeah.
Where he might just shortchange himself. But either way, it's good he went out and got his bag, got his guarantee. He's worth every dollar, as
Absolutely.
I said before. It's just the Eagles finally got good offensive coordinators back for this upcoming season. So hopefully they use him good.
I think they will.
I know you're an Eagles fan, so
I think they will.
And you love the way they used their offensive players last year.
I didn't, but I don't think I think I speak for every Eagles fan when we say that they just did not use anybody well.
Everybody who likes watching good football
was annoyed at that Eagles offense.
Yeah.
Eagles fan or not, you were annoyed at that offense.
I always root for the Eagles to lose. I'm just not like Eagles-Patriots rivalry, but that was
good.
Tough to watch.
Yeah, it was not good, and all year too. Even when we were winning games, it still wasn't that good.
No. You guys, the Eagles didn't win a game. Like, they won one game in the last, 6, 7, 8 weeks?
Yeah, it was so. That first, 10 weeks, though, we were balling. But after that, it just tanked.
And then they really let Johnson take over.
Yeah, and then it just went straight downhill. Anyway, moving on. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4 years, $120 million, $77 million guaranteed. Once again, a receiver who deserves this money, a receiver who has worked for the money. He's just super consistent. He's super reliable, and he's just an all-around all-star.
Oh, yeah. I love Amon-Ra. He's honestly one of my favorite players in the league.
Yeah.
The guy was drafted in the 4th round. I just had to double-check to make sure, but he was drafted in the 4th round. Kind
a lot
of
of receivers are taking over him.
Kind of underdog from the start.
Yeah.
But he's one of the best and most polished route runners in the league. Always seems to find the way to get open and be in the perfect spot for Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Talk about securing the security blanket for Jared Goff for the next couple of years. And it's good on the Lions for paying their guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's shown over the last 3 years that he is one of the best receivers in the league, and he easily deserves this money. I don't think they could get... maybe they could have got a better price. $30 million ties him in for... when he did sign it for the most on average.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's what he is. That's what he's worth.
Yeah,
maybe he's not as flashy as A.J. Brown or Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. but
That's kinda
he's
what I like
always
about him.
open.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like about him.
Yeah.
He does the fundamentals right. He does the right things right. He's not trying to make the all-star play. He's trying to make the right play, and that's what makes him so good.
And then looking at like PPR and Dynasty, I mean, he's not going to change on my board at all.
No.
But he is a PPR monster.
Absolutely.
And Dynasty-wise, I mean, I'm keeping him right where he is because now he's locked in. I already had him signing an extension, but now he's really locked in.
For the next 4 years.
He got a 4-year deal.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Like good for him for securing his bag and getting his money. I can't say enough good stuff about Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
Easily one of my favorite players to watch, to draft, and I will be targeting him in our upcoming Dynasty draft.
Absolutely. And then lastly, we have offensive tackle Penei Sewell signing another 4-year for $112 million.
Yeah, the Lions secured their guys. You knew that was gonna happen with Jack Campbell. No, oh my God,
Dan Campbell.
Jeez. With Dan Campbell, you know his guys were gonna get paid.
Yeah. Especially when they deserve it too.
And both those guys are legit top 5 at their position, getting paid like it. Sewell might be the best at his position. He might be the best tackle in the league.
Yeah.
So they both deserve it, and it's good that they got paid.
Yeah. They deserve the money, and it's good that... Sorry, keep going.
To see the Lions just continually build. Made another good pick last night, securing one of the best corners in the draft as late as they did. A guy I didn't think was going to make it out of the top 20. So, I mean, they're keep trending in the right direction, and they're building that team for longevity.
Yeah. I like what they did here. I like that. Like, obviously, they did so well last year, and they know that these guys are the reason why they did so well last year. So they're giving them the money. They're letting them know, hey, we know that you're just an absolute beast on our team, and you're carrying us through the whole team. We're going to give you the money. Okay. What's that look for?
I don't know.
All right, moving on here. Now we're getting into the draft. Obviously, like Brendan said, if you weren't on your phone or you weren't just you're under a rock, for the past couple weeks. Under a rock for the past couple weeks. The draft was last night, and let's just start off with some picks that we do and don't like.
Before we get into that, can I say something?
Sure.
Pat McAfee's show was by far the best way to watch the draft.
I didn't watch
the
draft like that.
You got to tune in tonight if he's having again. Bill Belichick was great at.
Oh, I forgot he was on that.
His analysis, you could just tell. What I love about Bill is he's not like, this guy's great at this. He's great at this. He'll literally crap on the guy for 3 straight segments. And then be like, but his potential's amazing. Like, he's just so real with it. And I know he hasn't always had the best history of draft picks, but he knows, like, he is the football guru. Yeah. So
I believe that.
And then Pat McAfee's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they had a guy doing the Mel Kiper impression. It was like Mad Mel Kiper. The guy was just going off. He's like, that's easily the best guy on my board. Great impression, though. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you're watching the draft, watch the Pat McAfee version. It is so good. So continue.
Right. So we're just starting off with just straight off the bat, some picks we do and don't like. I'm going to start here at the where were they? The number 5 pick, the Chargers with Joe Alt. I do like this pick. It was either, Marvin was taken off the board at 4. If Marvin fell, I would have said, okay, maybe you go Marvin. And I was even thinking here, I was either thinking it was Joe Alt or Malik Neighbors. And I think they made the right pick with Joe Alt. Just because Harbaugh loves his trenches, I think that's mainly why they went with it. I feel like you can't go wrong with either Neighbors or Joe Alt here, obviously because the Chargers lost their top 4 targets or whatever it was. They're all gone, so having Neighbors wouldn't be a bad thing. But then again, building your trenches is never a bad thing. So,
no, you could tell that was their game plan all along.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Joe Alt is 6'9".
Yeah, the dude is mountain.
Holy
mountain.
Good thing Herbert's tall to get the ball over him.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you're doing is you're securing the edge for Herbert, and you're getting probably the guy who I think's the most surefire. Him and then Marvin Harrison are the 2 guys who are basically, I think a couple others are too, but not as much as these 2, are basically guaranteed to be Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
Like, not first year, of course, but are basically guaranteed to be your top of the end, your top 5 in the player group type of players. And I think maybe if Marvin fell, they pick Marvin.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, as you said, Harbaugh wants to get to a ground and pound offense and really get back to that rough style of football where then they can run play action. And I think the first step to doing that was getting the most dominant offensive tackle in the draft and a guy who could come in day one and be a top 10 offensive tackle.
Yeah. I mean,
and then protect Herbert at the same time.
Yeah, that's never a bad thing. Protecting your quarterback will never be a bad thing. And I also think that, I mean, this is a deep wide receiver draft. I mean, outside of obviously the elite, which is like Harrison, Neighbors, and Odunze, after that, it kind of falls off a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's still like obviously Worthy was taken and a couple others, Brian Thomas Jr.
Those 3 wide receivers are surefire.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be really good.
But I feel like there's still a good amount of decent wide receivers on the board.
That was going to be the next thing I said.
So I feel like the Chargers, they're making a good pick here. They're saying, okay, we'll take the most elite offensive tackle in this draft by a long shot, and then we're just going to wait. And maybe second round or third round, they take another wide receiver or something.
I totally agree. Because the wide receiver class is a lot more depth.
Yeah.
Than or a lot deeper than the tackle class. Well, the tackle, there's a lot of good tackles, but I feel like this is a very strong wide receivers. Like, you look at the draft board right now, and then you look at where they pick. They pick in 5 slots, and with that, you still have 8 very solid wide receivers. Like, you draft in 5 spots, and you still got Adonai Mitchell, you still got McConkey, you still got Coleman, you still got the 2 Washington boys, Polk and McMillan. You also got Troy Franklin, Brendan Rice, and Roman Wilson. I think Roman Wilson's very underrated in this draft.
I like Roman Wilson.
You still got a bunch of guys out there who are very good. Where now at O-tackle, you get there's some decent guys. You got some guys I can't pronounce their name. But you got like Fisher out of Notre Dame. You got the BYU offensive tackle, the Houston offensive tackle. You still got some decent guys out there, but it's not the same as what the quality is for wide receiver.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like this is the biggest talking point of probably the entire day.
Mm-hmm.
And it really comes down to this. There was 3 QBs that got picked where they should have been, and 3 QBs who got picked way too early.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The top 3 QBs versus the next 3. I feel like when you're drafting a quarterback, you're drafting based on potential. Mm-hmm. And I think all Williams, Daniels, and May all have the potential to be Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Well, like, that's what you hope.
Yeah.
But all potential to be Pro Bowlers, top of the end quarterbacks. And you see it. Daniels got the great two-way game. He can run, he can throw, he can fit the ball in any pocket. May's that prototypical tall, lean frame, white dude, athletic.
Who can sling the rock.
And he can throw it very hard and very far.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, who's that next generation prospect.
All around.
The all-around, can get out of the pocket, scrambles when he needs to, and can put the ball anywhere. But then you look at this next group of 3, Penix, McCarthy, and Nix, and they all scream round 2 and 3 to me.
Mm-hmm.
They're the 3 guys. A lot of other guys, I mean, some guys I'm like, I don't really get how they fit here, or I think they're overdrafted. But not really that bad, except these 3 players. I think J.J. McCarthy was maybe the one exception. Maybe. I don't like even saying that because I think he found his fit. You literally go from Kirk Cousins 1 to Kirk Cousins 2.
Yeah, that's really all it is.
But like J.J. McCarthy, he loses zip on his balls. He can't throw a deep ball. He has the worst accuracy in this class on balls over 25 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Penix, I mean, just injuries. And also Falcons, what are you doing?
Yeah, at the 8, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't.
You got Kirk Cousins for 4 years. You could have drafted a quarterback in 2 more years. You could have got one of the top wide receivers for Kirk, or you could have went out and got a top offensive tackle.
I mean, Odunze is still on the board.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not take Odunze? If you're going to go offense.
Well, I could see an offensive tackle too.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're going to go offense, I mean, there's a lot other options outside
maybe
of Penix.
they really like Penix, but you could tell Kirk was frustrated.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
why are you putting a 4-year contract and then drafting my replacement, basically?
Yeah.
Penix doesn't have the same arm strength. He can fit a ball into a tight space, but doesn't have the same arm strength as the other like top of the end prospects. And then Bo Nix, like, come on,
I don't like it.
He's just like, you could tell he's not in that same class as some of the other quarterbacks. I mean,
at 12,
yes, he does. He is a pretty good decision maker. He doesn't throw a lot of turnover, throw a lot of picks. He has a high completion percentage, but really, I mean, he fits in as a middle of the pack quarterback at best.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard. Let me get this out real quick. The not the Buffalo Bills, the Denver Broncos. This is a post I got from Adam Schefter on Twitter. Denver had a private workout with Bo Nix the night after his pro day. The night of his pro day, they gave him 3 packets of offensive play installation, and then the next morning, they worked in the classroom with Nix. He crushed it. The Broncos then took Nix from the classroom to the field, watched him throw for an hour, and convinced they had the quarterback they wanted.
All right. Well, I mean,
but
that's good
I
news for
still
Denver.
don't think. Yeah, at least you believe in the guy you picked. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
But there's so many other good players on the board. Big potential to trade down here. But I don't know. I don't love the pick. I think he's more year one ready than maybe some of the other guys. Maybe he's more year one ready than May.
Just because he's old.
Yeah, because he's old, has a lot. He played 6 years, has a lot of experience. But I think May could use a good year to sit behind Brissett, or maybe come in halfway through the year, like
just some
Baker
sort of
Mayfield
time.
did, or Herbert. Yeah, something to really take it all in, especially with his. Did you see Bill Belichick called out his feet?
Did he?
I sent you a post last night on Instagram. It was at
I don't think I saw it.
11, but
yeah, I was probably.
no, it was literally like his feet are really choppy, inconsistent. I'm like, wow, maybe I could go and do this. Not that. But yeah, basically, there's the three top quarterbacks. It all makes sense. It's what we thought. I mean, we had Jaden Daniels and May flipped on our mock draft.
I mean, yeah, I would have.
That was also. I would have put it the other way.
Yeah, I would have put it. I would have put it
how it is.
Yeah, I think
how it actually was drafted.
Who did that pick? Justice.
Yeah, he's dumb. But yeah, the next 3, I don't get it. I think they're all overdrafted. I know quarterback's a position of desperation.
Yeah, I think they were just getting a little desperate. I mean, Penix at 8 is still a little baffling.
Wow factor.
Yeah. J.J. McCarthy at 10, just because it's the Vikings, it makes sense. Just because they've been projected to take him for so long, that's the only reason why it makes sense. And then Bo Nix is just way too high for me.
Wild. I think J.J. McCarthy makes the most sense out of all of them. You knew he's gonna get reached on, and he's the perfect guy for that offense. Yeah. The trade up was kind of just like.
He's also going. Sorry, keep going. I just totally cut you off.
No, yeah, you're good. I didn't have that much to say. The trade up was just like a.
Yeah, they basically
whatever. It was like I'll give you an extra pick and then we swap here. Yeah, it was like whatever. I want to lock in McCarthy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what were you saying? Sorry.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of weapons. I mean, he's got Justin Jefferson, arguably the best wide receiver in the league, if not the best.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison, who's a phenomenal wide receiver too, and then T.J. Hawkinson, who's probably a top 3 tight end. But is he? I always get this mixed up. Is he going to be playing?
I don't think till end of year.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so, but, I mean, even if when he does come back, because obviously JJ's going to be at the Vikings for more than a year, I'm assuming. When he does come back, those 3 targets are going to be so important for them. And they also have Aaron Jones as a running back.
Yeah.
Who is getting older, for sure, but still isn't terrible. I don't love the way that the Packers use him. Hopefully the Vikings use him a little bit better. But what's up?
Hey, keep going.
Okay. But yeah, I think eventually. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of J.J. McCarthy. I've got a friend at Michigan who is a J.J. McCarthy diehard fan. He's like, I love this. My friend Xander at Michigan. Shout out Xander. I don't agree with your take at all. He's like, oh, I love JJ at the Vikings.
Not all your friends are smart. We see that with Will.
Yeah, love you, Will. It was his birthday 2 days ago.
Really?
Or yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, but Xander's texting in our group chat. He's like, wow, he's such a perfect fit for the Vikings. He's going to be the second best.
He's a good fit for the Vikings.
Yeah, he's going to be the second best QB in the class on that team. Yada yada yada. I'm like, all right.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, Ben. I mean, listen, I'm
It's
a JJ
literally
hater.
Kirk Cousins 2.0.
I'm a JJ hater.
Yeah, I'm not a JJ McCarthy fan.
If JJ does well, he can thrive off my hate. That's great for him. If he doesn't do well, I was right, so it's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
But moving on to a pick that I do like. Actually, there are two picks.
I feel like there was a lot of guys who landed in good spots for where they should have gone, and a lot of guys who didn't get drafted as early as I thought because of some of these other names sneaking up the board.
Yeah. There are two picks went back to back for me. One is a solid pick that I know is a good take. The other one, you might not agree with me, but I still like it. I just like the guy. I don't know what you're laughing at over there, but the Eagles at pick 22 taking Quinyon Mitchell, the first corner off the board. I love it. Quinyon, I think, is the best corner in this draft. I don't know why you're still laughing at me.
I was going to take a sip of water, and as I was tilting it back, it with these bigger Hydro Flask water bottles, it kind of the water moves around a lot.
Okay,
it just went right up, hit me right in the face. Okay. I thought you saw it. It was pretty funny. Not to cut you off, but I had Mitchell as one of my favorite picks of this draft, and really all three top cornerbacks. I thought they all landed in really good places. Mm-hmm. Mitchell with Eagles. Somehow the Eagles always find out how to get a guy who should go in the top 12 in their late round one
just
pick.
How he doing what he does.
I mean, still just blow it all in the playoffs.
Yeah, probably.
But Arnold going to Detroit.
I love that.
Great fit.
Yeah.
And Nate Wiggins going to Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's great fit.
These are three really good corners going to three really good defenses.
Oh, yeah, and three places they're going to grow.
Yeah.
The craziest part to me is that some of the other corners didn't go. That DeJean didn't go. I was very surprised by that.
I thought he was going to go.
And
for sure.
I was not as shocked about Kool-Aid, but I thought he was going to go as well. Mm-hmm. Sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
It's fine. But the thing was about Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid was projected to go to the Eagles or somewhere around the Eagles, around that pick.
Because they thought all these other guys were going to be gone.
Mitchell was going to be off the board. They thought Wiggins was going to be off the board. Arnold was going to be off the board. Little did they know, they had the pick of the litter. They could pick whoever they want because nobody picked a corner.
And I think Mitchell's the best one.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he's the most technically sound at the moment, and he is blazing fast.
Yeah, he's so fast.
So that's a great pick by the Eagles. I think he fits really good there too.
Mm-hmm. This is my last pick that you might not agree with me, but I like it. Brian Thomas Jr. going to the Jaguars. I like this pick.
Really?
And I know in the draft, in our mock draft, I had them taking a corner, I think. But they also traded up. They weren't supposed to be here.
Yeah,
they traded up with Dallas. So they traded up here. They took Brian Thomas Jr. Obviously, they knew what they wanted. They knew they wanted a wide receiver. And I like it because they have Christian Kirk. They have Gabe Davis. I'm not a huge Gabe Davis fan. I am a Christian Kirk fan. So now adding, it's definitely a wide receiver trio with Gabe Davis there now. So Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, plus Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne in the backfield with Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball.
And Zay Jones.
So, it's really not a bad-looking offense right now.
I was going to keep this till later. I think Brian Thomas fell a little bit farther than I thought he was going to fall. Mm-hmm. I definitely thought he was going to go by this point.
Yeah.
Either to the Colts or one of these other teams. But I just think it makes such a crowded offense. I think it gives him the ability to be the almost wide receiver 2, so he doesn't have to take on the wide receiver 1 responsibilities.
Which I like.
And that way it could help him break out.
Yeah.
Because he's very talented. The reason why he's not in that top class, why he's that second tier, is because he's not as refined as the other guys. Mm-hmm. But he has all the potential to become a wide receiver 1. So you can't get mad at the pick.
No.
But I did have him as one of my losers later in the later in the podcast or show.
Yeah, for the
so. Yeah, I kind of agree with you that I feel like it's a good pick.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the best fit.
Yeah, I get that, and I think maybe they just believe in Brian Thomas Jr. more than they do the other guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how
There's
much longer.
There's definitely a fall off after him.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer Christian Kirk is in Jacksonville for.
2 years.
2 more years.
2 or 3.
Gabe Davis just signed a 3-year, right?
So they got all their guys locked
so they
in.
got
Zay
for a
Jones
while.
is the next to go.
Yeah, probably. And they have Evan Ingram probably for a little while too.
Yeah.
ETN, like I said before, absolute baller. And then Trevor Lawrence. I'm not a huge. I like Trevor Lawrence at times. I think he's very inconsistent. I feel like if he can fix that consistency piece, he'll definitely jump higher on my board at least.
Yeah.
But until then, he's not my favorite. But maybe Brian Thomas Jr. can help him with that. So
yeah. I got 2 quick guys I just want to punch on before we go to the break.
Sure.
Jared Verse going to the LA Rams.
I like that.
I thought he was a great pick. I think they'll pair him with their other with Young off the other side.
Yeah.
Their rookie from last year who they got in the later rounds. He's very good, can move inside, outside. And I think just the versatility that the Rams defense plays with, he'll be able to bring. He's not going to replace Aaron Donald.
No.
But
Nobody
did
is.
get one of the top edge rushers, one of the top guys to get to the quarterback. And he plays pretty good on the run block too. So I think that was a great fit. And then the pick I really wanted to talk about, Xavier Worthy.
Oh, my God.
I feel like there was not a better fit
Yeah, there really
in
isn't.
the draft.
There really is not.
I mean, you're talking about when I was thinking about this earlier, you really couldn't talk about a guy who's a better fit for the team he got picked to.
Yeah,
So-
no, there really isn't.
Xavier Worthy, 4.21 40 time, fastest in combine history. He legit. The thing that makes him a first rounder, you got other guys who are just straight down the field runners. You got like your MVS who've stayed around in the league a while. He can do that, and he can actually run a lot of the routes on the field. It's going to be interesting to see him if he can fill out a little. But he is going to be a great fit for this team. He's literally going to be used like Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
not
it's
in
a
the
little-
same exact way,
Yeah, it's a little unfair that the Chiefs got him, honestly.
but oh yeah, and the Bills handed them to him.
I know.
Handed him to them. I think for the fit, I think Leggett is a better receiver who went to Carolina. I like that fit too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Worthy was perfectly fit for this offense.
Yeah, I
and
think
it's
so
really
too.
a good boost for that
think so,
offense,
too.
especially with losing Rice for at least this year.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, when we all know Patrick Mahomes is back there slinging the rock, he makes so-so receivers look good, and he makes good receivers look great. So, I mean, we know Xavier Worthy. We know he can ball. We know he's good. So I'm assuming he's going to look great for this season, for this upcoming season. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that wraps up our first segment talking about the some of our favorite picks and the best fits from the first round. We're going to go to break. You're listening to 98.5 WNUW LP Aston. And welcome back to Champ Talk. We're in our second segment now, talking NFL draft. We're just going over some of the picks we like, don't like, and
Hold
all
on.
right there, Renzo?
trying to figure this out. Keep going. I'm listening.
I don't know. It's kind of entertaining to watch.
No, it keeps falling. I messed it up from the.
Yeah, you got it.
I think.
Ooh. Oh, it
I think
stayed.
we're good.
It stayed.
I think we're good.
Nice. His mic kept falling down.
It's still too. Hold on.
Okay, I'll keep talking. This next part, we're going to talk about who we thought went too high, who we thought went too low. Then we're going to get into some shocking picks and then some underrated picks, maybe some overrated too. And then our last segment, stick around. We're going to be talking Dynasty winners, losers, and then we're going to be talking Dynasty rookie draft, where we pick rookies and how we think they're going to fit in with their new teams, and then kind of looking down the road in that segment to some second round picks.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I want to start off with, I want to talk about the QB situation a little more.
Sure.
Just reiterating on what we talked about before. I think the first 3 QBs went in the right spot and the next 3 didn't. So what I want to start with that is I think Caleb Williams, they did a great job building him up for success. I think they maybe could have done a little bit more with the offensive line, but I thought they did get some offensive linemen. And you're really stacking him with a really good running back, somebody I think is very underrated.
Yeah.
And you're giving him 3 wide receiver ones. Even DJ Moore, Adunze, and Keenan Allen.
With Cole Kmet.
With Cole Kmet and Jared Gerald Everett. So, I mean, you're setting him up for success. Jaden Daniels, another. I think he's in a good situation.
Better than most.
His the weird part about this year is that I don't think some of the teams at the top at the beginning of the draft are the worst teams.
Yeah.
Like, I think Washington's just poorly coached. But they have offensive talent, maybe defensively, but they have offensive talent. They went and got Austin Eckler. They went and got some offensive linemen. I think Terry McLaurin's a stud wide receiver. He's amazing. I think
Scary Terry.
Their wide receiver 2 is really good in Penn State kid. Why am I blanking on his name?
Who?
Their wide receiver 2.
Jahan Dotson?
Yeah, Dotson. I think he's an up-and-comer, so he'll have success there. And then Drake May. I think Drake May is that third quarterback. Very good potential. I love that the Patriots actually went quarterback at this spot, didn't trade down. I think they were just playing with people to get some more media coverage. I want them to go take a wide receiver in this next slot. I think Mitchell and McConkey are both good fits. And then maybe get another wide receiver down the board. As I was saying earlier, I think Roman Wilson would be a great fit. I think if you could get Troy Franklin later to be an outside guy, I think you stack up on offensive talent, especially for the Patriots, because their offense is really lacking, and their defense can usually plug in any of these versatile guys and really train them up, especially with Mayo still there. So I think really filling in that wide receiver. I heard Mitchell has some health scares, so maybe you just go take Ladd McConkey, who I think's a very athletic for a white guy.
Yeah. The thing about the Patriots, though, is they don't really have, or at least last year, they didn't really have, like, an all-star offensive player. The biggest one was, like, Ramondre Stevenson.
I think Stevenson's very good.
I think Stevenson's good.
I agree.
Like, I think, like, they didn't have
They got some decent NFL wide receivers, but nothing like,
crazy,
none of them,
nothing to write home about. No one who's going to be like, all right, we need to, like, they're going to dominate in the defense. Is like, we need to focus on this guy.
That's what they need this year. And
they need someone like that. And Drake May I think is a good start to that.
I think the other thing is they're very active. They can mortgage some future picks now that they got their quarterback of the future to go get a guy like, oh my God, I'm horrible with names today, but T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk. There's some wide receivers on the trade block that they should go and just target. And then getting to the next 3, I mean, Bo Nix is in a horrible situation. I almost feel bad because, one, he has all this expectation on him now.
Yeah.
And because he's overdrafted, and now he gets thrown into this horrible situation.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, it's like Caleb and Jaden Daniels, like, almost got spoiled with where they're at. Yeah. And, like,
I think the Broncos are one of the worst teams in the NFL right now.
Yeah, no, I do too. But, I mean, I agree with you there. But the Broncos are obviously still trying to rebuild. They're still trying to, build that team for the future and have their franchise quarterback. And they believe that's Bo Nix, And I'm not sure that is the pick. I'm not sure that, I could be totally wrong. He might be the guy. He might be totally worth the 12th overall.
Yeah, maybe.
But,
probably not.
Probably not, but, I mean, we'll have to see.
And then Penix and McCarthy, as we said earlier, going into decent situations, but Penix won't play, and we'll see what happens with McCarthy.
Yeah,
so
he's really a toss-up.
Do you have any guys who you think any other guys who you think went way too high, or you're like, wow, he didn't go yet? Or he went that low? I'll start us off with one.
Yeah.
J.C. Latham, I totally get the pick. 6'6", 342, has some very good in protection, wins a lot of battles, absorbs contact, has that good speed to power ratio, but really, I did not see him as the top 2 offensive tackle where he got picked.
Who did you think should have gone? They should have.
I thought Fashanu was better. I thought Fuaga was better. But I'm not against it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I knew they were going to go
good.
offensive tackle, and he was one of that top tier. I was just surprised that he was the one who ended up going, how much he really climbed up draft boards over these last couple weeks. Because even when we were doing our mock draft, everywhere I saw him, he was the number 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And in past days, he moved up to the 2. So it shows you what can happen.
Yeah.
How much they actually know.
Yeah. A guy who kind of fell for me. He didn't fall too far. I don't like where he ended up. We were just talking about this. Brock Bowers.
Yeah. He was going to come up in my shocking picks. That's right. Yeah. But yes.
I mean, there are two teams here that really I think should have taken him beforehand. That could have taken him beforehand. Atlanta at the 8 or Jets at the 11.
I think
Fashanu at the Jets. It's the right pick. It's obviously a great pick, if not the best offensive tackle in the draft. So taking him obviously is a smart pick. I mean, I'm not against it, but Brock Bowers, I feel like he just fell a little further than we all expected him to. I know I had him going in the top 10. I had the Jets taking him at the 10.
Yeah. But I could see him falling.
I could see him falling too. It wasn't
the part
extremely shocking to me, but
the part that was shocking to me was the fact that he literally, the Las Vegas Raiders took Mayer last year in the second round.
Yeah.
I get teams can run those the two tight end sets a lot of the times. They're both going to be decent blockers, but nowhere like really, really good blockers, both Bowers and Mayer. And it just doesn't make sense to me almost.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Especially when you have...
I don't know. I thought they could have done so much better with getting maybe he was just too good to pass up on in their eyes, but I really thought they were going to take Mitchell, the cornerback, or get one of the other offensive tackles.
A lot of teams had the Raiders taking Mitchell here.
I don't know. That pick just shocked me. I really wanted to see him go to the Colts.
Mm-hmm. He would have fit well with the Colts.
What's crazy, I just noticed, was that the first 14 players taken were offensive players. I know that's like a new record, basically.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that.
But yeah, I did not expect them to go there. I expected defensive player out of the Raiders.
Yeah, it is a little nuts, but I mean, Brock Bowers. Listen, obviously he's a generational talent. No, he's not bad
at the tight end position, definitely.
At the tight end position, I mean, the only one who was taken higher than him, Kyle Pitts, was probably like the only tight end taken higher than him.
Yeah.
And we all saw how Kyle Pitts turned out, but I mean, hopefully,
especially because Brock Bowers is like he's big, but he's not like huge.
No, he's not. He looks like a wide receiver.
Dang, he's 243.
He looks like a wide receiver. Did you think he was gonna be bigger or smaller than 243?
Smaller.
Yeah.
He looks smaller.
Yeah, but who's underrated? What's an underrated pick for you here?
A very, very underrated pick here for me was as I said earlier, Nate Wiggins for the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
But can I maybe not underrated, but under the radar, Rick Purcell. Ricky Purcell. Purcell?
Yeah,
Purcell?
I don't know how to say it.
The fact that the 49ers went with him
in
the first round when they have Debo and Ayuk. Is that foreshadowing?
Yeah, I think it definitely could be because obviously with all the trade talk with Ayuk and whatnot,
I definitely don't think Ayuk lasts throughout.
I don't want him there anymore. I don't want him. Get him out. I like Ayuk, and I don't like the Niners.
Do not trade him to the Patriots. Not trade him to the Patriots.
I love Ayuk. I think he's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. I hate the Niners. I get him out of there. I don't like that he's at the Niners, especially because you just took Ricky Purcell, whatever. Yeah, I say get him out of there.
Yeah, Ricky. By the way, he looks very good. I think he's kind of similar to Debo almost. I feel like in terms of where he plays, like he can play all over the field, but really lines up in the slot a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Does a good job off returns and that. But I think that's an underrated pick in terms of what it might mean for the future of the 49ers offense. But really, they're just keep feeding weapons to Brock Purdy that other teams aren't doing for their quarterback. Another pick I kind of want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet is Graham Barton, the center from Duke, going to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I like that.
Great pick. Another boost for our guy in Dynasty.
Mm.
Wow, dude, I am so tired.
Uh,
I cannot remember any names or anything.
Why can't I think of his name either? Running back.
White?
Yeah,
No.
Rashad White.
Oh my
Rashad
God,
White.
I'm cramping.
You're right.
Rashad White.
Dude, we're not on it today.
No. I just got a hamstring cramp in the middle of that too. But yeah, I thought this was a very, very good pick here. I thought he definitely deserved to be picked in the first round. He's one of those, you don't see centers taken in the first round a lot, so you know he's special.
Yeah.
And that's a great pick to reinforce Baker Mayfield, reinforce that offensive line. And the Bucs are going to stay relevant. They've done a great job. I thought they really mortgaged their future, but they've done a great job transitioning from the Brady Super Bowl era into this next era very cleanly and smoothly.
Yeah,
a lot of teams haven't been able to do that and move off their franchise quarterback like the Patriots.
Yeah, and I think they did it a lot better than people thought they were. I mean, Mike Evans, I think, is a big part of that. And Baker Mayfield did well, too. But Baker Mayfield did really well. Rashad White did really well. You still have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, people like that, I think are really helpful with that transition, and really made that transition so smooth. And now that you're trying to build up the offensive line, you got Graham Barton here. I think it's a good pick, and I think it's going to help him for the future. Another pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Another pick I think that we brushed upon a little bit before. Xavier Leggett. I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah, no clue.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Leggett.
Leggett. Pick 32 to the Carolina Panthers. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him there.
I said it earlier. I think it's a great fit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was really kind of underrated in terms of some of the other wide receivers taken around him. I thought he was better than Ricky Pearsall.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think he found a good fit in terms of playing with Bryce Young and finding a wide receiver who could make some plays for Bryce Young. I think he is a combination of really good speed, good size.
Yeah, and he's
and it says here it's a powerful open field runner with good instincts after the catch and in the return game. I don't think he'll be much of a returner down the road.
Yeah.
But this is a good guy to create some separation for Bryce Young and maybe turn some like easy dump-offs plays into some touchdowns, which Bryce Young is just dying for.
I
know. His wide receivers were some of the worst at separating, and this gives him a real second option. I think it was a guarantee that Carolina was drafting a wide receiver, but it would help if they didn't give away the first overall pick. So
yeah, but now they're kind of completing that wide receiver trio.
Yep.
Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen. And
oh my God, I forgot they got Johnson.
Yeah.
They really got a guy who can do it all. They got three guys who can do it all. Thielen's gonna work that field. Mm-hmm. He's gotta find those zones. Deontay Johnson can work out of the slot and the outside, make plays, and then you got Leggett, who's a faster burner, crossing routes. So you're really giving a good offense. Plus they went out and signed some of the best offensive linemen in free agency, getting Hunt from the Dolphins. I'm not the biggest Hunt fan, but he's good.
I think the two holes that they kind of have left on that offense is the running back position and the tight end position. The running back, you have Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders. I hate Miles Sanders. I'm going to be so honest. I think he's terrible.
I didn't get the contract when they gave it to him.
I don't like him. Chuba Hubbard is doing better than we thought.
Chuba Hubbard's pretty good.
Yeah, he's doing better than we thought. He's nothing great, but he's definitely not doing bad. I think he's good for the moment. I don't think he's going to last. I wouldn't be surprised if they take maybe a late round running back here. Maybe they look into tight end. I'm not sure. Honestly, outside of Brock Bowers, I don't really know any of the other tight ends in this draft outside of Brock Bowers. I'm going to be totally honest. But who knows? Maybe they take a tight end. Maybe they take a running back. I wouldn't be surprised if they take a running back. That would be my guess, because they need that. If they can really fill all the holes in their offense here.
I think they keep hammering just their the skill guys. So get some more corners, get some more edge rushers, get some more tight ends. I really like the Texas tight end. He's big guy, 6'4", 245. He's a pretty good catcher of the ball, decent blocker. He's a guy I look down the road to, seeing. And then there's a couple other decent tight ends, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Ohio State tight end, Kansas State tight end. You got some decent guys in there. This isn't the deepest class, but it's definitely a class with some guys who could eventually develop into something.
Mm-hmm.
The next guy I kind of want to talk about, a guy who I thought was an underrated pick, who they did a great job going to trade up to get. Another pick by the Minnesota Vikings, Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
I thought he was the best edge rusher in the class, maybe a little older. I think he fits in perfectly to work on the other side of the line. And I thought they got him at a steal of a pick.
Who did they trade with at the, what is
Jacksonville.
it, Jacksonville. Okay, that's who it was. I know they traded up. But yeah, I think that was an absolute steal. I'm a little shocked how he fell this far. But I mean, good for Minnesota, I guess, grabbing their quarterback and grabbing their star edge rusher now, or hopefully star edge rusher.
Yeah, he looks very good. I see him as being one of those guys who will be one of the best edge rushers in the league someday. And the fact that he fell down to 17 with that rush of wide receiver, offensive players going, not wide receivers, quarterbacks going. It was a no-brainer. The Vikings traded the number 17 or the number 23rd, the 167, a fifth round, and then a future third and fourth for the 17th.
Dang.
So they gave up some picks.
Jaguars just gave up the 17. That was it?
Yeah, they gave up 17 for the 23rd, a fifth round, and then a future third and fourth. I said two fifth rounds by accident.
Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, it's worth it. This guy showed he could play, and he's a real player.
I get it, but I mean, Jaguars kind of made out on that deal with even getting Brian Thomas Jr. still.
Yeah. I mean, those are some of the guys I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Just working in here. We're going to take another break. You're listening to Champ Talk. And you're back listening to Champ Talk on 98.5 WNUW. We're going to get into some Dynasty talk now surrounding the NFL draft. So we're going to talk about a little bit of how Dynasty was affected and fantasy overall in terms of winners and losers real quick. And then we're going to go into where we'd be drafting some of these rookies and some of the spots they might have cemented for themselves with the teams they got picked to. I'm going to start us off because I want to say this now. One of the losers from this draft is the Bears cluster of wide receivers.
Yeah.
Because I feel like all three, very talented. As I said earlier, cements Caleb Williams with a very good roster and very good weapons. But it kind of mixes them all up. It kind of there's a lot to do. Like there's a lot of guys to try to get the ball to in that offense. And I mean, they're still. I think all three are going to be very good. It's kind of going to be like
I think they're still going to win games.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't think they're going to win your fantasy matchup.
Yeah. I think they're all, like, they kind of all took a hit. I don't think any of them, like before where they had DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, I thought maybe both could have been 15-plus PPR guys. But now I kind of see them all as, like, you don't know which one's going to be the really good one and which one's not. So that was one of my losers.
Here's the thing, though. So being that, like, you said the wide receivers were losers, but does that make Caleb a winner?
Caleb Williams a winner.
Yeah, I'd say so too. So I don't know how high I'm taking
he's
Caleb.
Not really raising up my board from where he already was going to be.
He's not like screaming, but I mean,
he's
still like
loaded at offense.
Yeah, no, for sure. One of my winners here, I think it's solidified for a pretty long time, is Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
He's obviously the wide receiver one on that team. They just got rid of Rondale Moore. They only have James Conner there. They have Kyler Murray there. Kyler Murray isn't my favorite throwing quarterback.
Rock, though.
Yeah, he's not bad at it, but he's not my favorite.
He's one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion, and continually just crapped on guys.
Yeah, but the thing is, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, is talented enough to make Kyler Murray look even better. And who's their tight end? Trey McBride. So Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. Who's their wide receiver 2? Do you even know on the card?
the Cardinals.
Rondale Moore's gone.
Michael Wilson.
Yeah. And then, is that his name?
Yeah.
And then James Conner in the backfield.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good offense. Nothing to write home about, but still dominant. And Marvin Harrison Jr., I feel like, is going to draw a lot of attention, which could open up some other guys.
But no, I think Marvin Harrison landed in a good spot.
Yeah, just because it's the opposite of what we just talked about. Yeah, it's the opposite of what we just talked about. It's far from crowded. It's not a very loaded receiver room, resulting in a lot of targets for Marvin Harrison.
I think
Jr.
you could say the same thing about Leggett for Carolina. He's going to step in and be that wide receiver 1
you
down
think he's
the road.
Going to start over?
No, I don't. I think he could be the wide receiver 3, but Thielen only got a year left. I'm saying for dynasty purposes.
Yeah, dynasty purposes, I agree.
He's coming in as a guy who found a good team with a young quarterback who could cement a possible bond with him and be good. I was just saying off that point that you were saying about
I get you.
him. Another winner is Terry McLaurin. I think
I
Terry
agree.
McLaurin finally got a good quarterback and finally somebody he could work with. I think he's going to be raising up my draft boards a little bit, maybe in Dynasty, but definitely single season fantasy and in keeper leagues. So I think he is a clear winner. Not much else to say. Very talented. Just needs the quarterback to throw him the ball.
Mm-hmm. And then this is a guy who I'm not really sure yet if I like him as a winner or a loser. I'm kind of on the fence. How do you feel about Malik Neighbors?
Neighbors, a loser.
You think so?
Dude,
it's
Giants
Daniel Jones.
suck.
Yeah, and it's Daniel Jones.
The only thing I'll say about Jones is Jones has never had a real wide receiver.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's
he's been very good in Dable systems before. It's just the Giants got to go and get a running back because as much as I like Singletary, he's not going to be your full-time guy.
Yeah, and he's not going to fill that Saquon role either.
Neighbors maybe a loser. It's more of a neutral. It's like he's got to get targets. He's got to get the ball. They're going to make sure he gets touches. Dable's very smart.
The only thing carrying the fact that like he's on the fence about him was that it's just his talent. He's just a raw talent.
He's very good.
If he wasn't just so good, he'd be loser, a straight up loser for me. But since he's so good, he's kind of on the fence for me, saying, maybe he might be a winner just because he's also.
I think he's neutral. It didn't really change much.
He's also
between
the
what
wide receiver
team he got drafted to.
Yeah.
So,
if they had a better quarterback, I'd say he's a winner.
The last part I want to touch on is I want to say the Chargers run game winner.
Yeah,
you go get
that.
Joe Alt.
I
think they're gonna go get Corum later in the draft. In the third round,
and I agree with you.
Because of Harbaugh. How many I've said it over and over again. He's gonna be the perfect fit for what they want to do, and that Harbaugh offense with the I forget the old Ravens offensive coordinator's name, but he's running it. So I think they'll be a good fit. And then if they don't get him, I think Gus Edwards with J.K. Dobbins, they're going to be a good fit to run that game. So I think some success in the LA Chargers future that we didn't see before.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That offensive line is only going to be built more and more. Blake Corum, I like him. He's definitely a good running back. Like you said, I think the Chargers take him. And I think Harbaugh knows how to use his running back. I think he knows how to use his own line. And I think because of that, they're going to end up in a good situation. One other winner here I have, Xavier Worthy, Chiefs, wide receiver.
And Mahomes. I paired Mahomes with him.
Yeah, I'd take that too. Both of these guys, winners. I mean, we talked about it before. He just fits in so well.
Yeah, he fits in perfectly to that offense. And he's going to get the ball.
Yeah, and because
especially
Patrick Mahomes.
They put him out on the field early. I think they invested a little bit more draft capital in him than Rice. So he's got to see that immediate push on the field.
I mean, plus you have Marquise Brown there, so them kind of working off
Crazy
each other.
Crazy speed.
Yeah, and then just sprinkle in Travis Kelce. I mean, you got yourself a fantastic.
Sprinkle. He is the.
Yeah, I know, but
he is the ice cream. They're the sprinkles.
A fantastic wide receiving core. Plus, you throw in McKinnon or whoever they want, Pacheco, whoever they want in running back, and then obviously the star-studded Patrick Mahomes. So I mean, it's a great offense, and Xavier Worthy definitely a winner there.
So if you're just joining us, we're going to now segue to kind of looking at if you were doing a rookie player only dynasty draft, and we'll kind of mix in if it was you do a combined draft, where we'd pick some of the guys who got picked last night, and then kind of looking into the second round as well to see if we can kind of guess and then also place guys.
Yeah.
So I think what happened, though, is that the top three cemented themselves as the top three in one quarterback PPR leagues. It's the three wide receivers in that order.
Mm-hmm.
It goes, oh my God, it goes Harrison, Marvin Harrison Jr. to Neighbors to Rome Odunze. I think it's a big three, and they're going to be the first ones gone. And then I think Caleb Williams put himself at that 104 with Bowers going to an location where I thought Bowers was going to be the easy.
I'm looking. I feel like did the AC kick up in here?
I don't know. Bowers was going to be the easy 104, but now that with how that draft kind of fizzled out,
Yeah.
I think he's down to my 105 or 6.
Yeah, he just keeps getting lower.
But yeah, Caleb Williams is definitely he's in my probably middle of the pack for my quarterbacks. He's a top 10 quarterback for me this year coming in right away, especially in Dynasty. He might be a top 4. He might be above Jalen Hurts in a combined league. So I definitely have Harrison, Neighbors, Odunze, then Caleb Williams. And then I either have Daniels or Bowers, depending on which way you need or which way you want.
Depending on your team right now.
I really liked Bowers. Him going to Oakland kind of messes me up.
I know. I don't really like that either. But where would you put guys like Brian Thomas Jr. and Worthy? Did you just say Worthy?
No, I have not said that yet. What do you think of my top 6?
I think your top 6. Wait, recall the first 3 wide receivers I get.
First 3 wide receivers in order. Then Caleb.
And
then kind of Daniels and
Jaden Daniels.
Bowers.
Jaden Daniels
I think Bowers is at the 5, then Daniels at the 6.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I can get behind
and
that.
I don't really have quarterbacks going that high a lot of the times in my Dynasty, but I think they are up there.
Yeah, unless your team is desperately needing a quarterback. Like, I don't know who you'd have on your team, but unless you just absolutely need a quarterback, you should be taking Marvin, Neighbors, or Odunze, whoever.
And then I think this might be one of the first drafts where we might not even have a running back going in the first round. I think running backs are very end of the first round for this year in Dynasty for a 12 team. I think then it kind of goes to that next class of guys. Like, you have that top 6. And then I'd say the next guy is Xavier Worthy. Then you move down to Brian Thomas.
Yeah, I like that.
And then you move into Drake May. And after that, I really like Ladd McConkey and Adonai Mitchell. I think those 2 are the next 2 guys. And then I also think Leggett might have snuck his way up the board here.
That's what I was going to say.
As a really good player.
That's what I was going to say.
And in a pretty good situation. I also think here, let me make sure I'm saying it right. My dad texted me how to say it. Pearsall.
Pearsall? Is that how you say it?
Pearsall for the 49ers. I think he could have a really good year. I think they're all first-round picks. Penix tanked down my board. Penix is maybe a 3rd-round pick now.
Yeah, this is just like
4th-round pick. He's a guy who's going to be on your taxi squad.
Yeah, for a long time.
As long as your league allows him to be on your taxi squad.
As long as Kirk Cousins is there, he's on your taxi, I feel like.
Yeah.
And he's going to be there for a while.
And Brian Thomas was the weird one for me. I think he comes in underworthy now, but just based on his potential and his talent, I think he has to stay at that spot. Like, he's not falling past my 8. Like, he is my
Brian
8.
Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because Daniels is my 6, and then Worthy's my 7, and then Brian Thomas is my 8.
Yeah.
And then May at my 9, and I think that's where the next tier ends.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I don't see me allowing myself to go any further down with him because of how good he is or how much potential he has. And then that next class of guys, I really see McConkey. I see Jonathan Brooks from Texas, Mitchell from Texas, Trey Benson from Florida State. And then right at the top of that all, because I forgot again, is Leggett.
I like Leggett here.
And Pearsall.
Yeah. Where do you have a guy like Blake Corum?
Blake Corum really matters where he goes. If he goes to the Chargers, he's an early 2nd-round pick for me.
Okay.
And a guy I'm targeting. It's kind of hard to
even with
get it all
who
now.
Is it? Gus Edwards and
I don't care.
J.K. Dobbins.
Fillers.
Yeah.
Billy Corum, real deal. Some guys aren't built the way you want them to be built. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not that prototypical build.
Okay.
But he is one of the best running backs I've seen play in college this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds the end zone no matter what. So I don't care that he's undersized or whatever. I really like him.
Mm-hmm. I like him too.
For guys like Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman, I really see them. It depends on where they go.
Yeah. Because they're talented for sure, but it's just what situation they end up in.
Like if I see Mitchell or McConkey or any of those guys, Coleman or Franklin go to Buffalo or New England at the top, I could see them doing really
well.
good.
Yeah,
maybe not New England.
because Buffalo has the one in the second round, right?
Yeah, but they might go. I think they go DeGene, honestly.
They could.
But I could see Washington taking a wide receiver. I could really see the Chargers taking a wide receiver here.
Oh yeah.
And you plug in one of them,
Talking
Justin
about that
Herbert
before, yeah.
into that too.
Mm-hmm.
The wide receiver
With Joe Alt there now as well with the protection.
Looking good.
That could be really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys to kind of be excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you need a running back, and then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, if you need a running back, this is not the year. I mean, these guys aren't terrible, but there's definitely been better drafts in the past.
So, yeah. But I think Trey Benson, depending on where he falls, could be a good hybrid running back, both pass catcher and runner. And then Jonathan Brooks looks like the clear number one running back for this draft.
He's from Texas, right?
Yeah. But yeah, there's a couple guys. I also like a couple more guys down the board. I could see my God. Who's the Michigan guy we were talking about earlier? Roman Wilson.
Roman Wilson.
I could see him being like this year's Puka.
Yeah, I could see that too.
But he's gonna go higher than Puka did.
Yeah, because he went to Michigan. That's why he's gonna go higher.
I'm picking Luke McCaffrey just because. And
how can you not pick a McCaffrey?
What?
I said, how can you not pick a McCaffrey?
No, you do. You pick a McCaffrey. Yeah, so I see that being a really good fit. There's a lot of wide receivers this year, and it's really important just to do your running back research, see what teams they end up on.
Yeah, because you never know. You could pick a random sleeper and be like, oh, I really like this guy. He ended up in a good situation. He might not, especially if we're talking Dynasty, he might not be in a great situation this year, but 2-3 years down the road, who knows?
I think it'll be good. Next week's episode, we come back, see where everybody actually gets picked to.
Yeah.
And then do a Dynasty, like, top 3 rounds breakdown of the rookies. But right now, as I see it, I see Marvin Harrison Jr. 1, Neighbors 2, Adunzi 3, Caleb Williams 4, Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers 5, then Jaden Daniels 6. And then at 7, I see Worthy. And then 8, I see Thomas. And then I see Drake May at 9.
Okay.
And then at 10, I see Leggett. 11, I see I'm blanking on his name. Pearsall. And then 12, I see a guy like Mitchell or McConkey based on where they land. And then I have Penix way down my board, 4th rounder.
Drop him.
I don't want him.
Yeah.
Keep him away from me.
Yeah.
I see Jonathan Brooks at this part. I see Roman Wilson being a good look. I see Trey Benson being at the top of the second.
You already said McConkey, right?
What?
You already said McConkey?
Yeah. Coleman, Troy Franklin, and then Corum all at that top of the second round. And then I see the quarterbacks being that end of the second, early third.
Who, like Bo
I don't
Nix,
really
Penix?
want Bo Nix and McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really want them. And
I don't really.
That's these quarterbacks, these top 3. I think each of them could be really special, and that's why you have to take them this high. But usually, I don't even have quarterbacks this high. So that's my take on this year's Dynasty. I kind of rambled a bit, but
but your rambling was right. I agree with you pretty much all the way through. My 1. I mean, if you didn't say Marvin Harrison Jr. at 1, we were gonna start throwing hands, but I'm glad you did. It's pretty clear cut that he's going to be. It's pretty clear cut that he's going to be the one here for Dynasty. He's been so dominant through college, obviously, and now through the NFL. Obviously, establishing himself as the wide receiver 1 in Arizona, and he's going to be the one for years to come. This isn't just a 1 year put off thing, unless he gets injured or whatever, and maybe he just super well. But I hope that Marvin Harrison Jr. continues his success in Arizona with Kyler Murray, which is why I'm putting him at my 1.
And then I think Neighbors cements himself at 2, falling in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Better situation than the overcrowded Bears lineup, but also not as good as a quarterback throwing in the ball as Marvin Harrison. So that's really where I come down to. I think Jaden Daniels got that potential to be that dual threat that every fantasy player loves.
Yeah, like the rushing with the passing, like Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts.
It's a very strong quarterback class, very strong wide receiver class, lacking in the running backs. But I'm excited to get this year's rolling for Dynasty. We're actually doing our Dynasty League. We're doing both rookies and
current
veterans, current players together after the draft. So we'll keep you updated on that. We're going to have a vote on whose team you think is the best.
Mine.
Probably not.
Probably yes. We're going to have to see.
Okay. You got anything else?
Last thing, quick shout out. Brendan Bosky turning 20 tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
I missed Renzo's birthday last week.
Yeah, we don't talk about my birthday.
It was
it's
on
cool.
Saturday.
Nah, it's cool, but I'm just a week older than Brendan. No biggie. But what are you turning, 20 tomorrow?
Yeah, 20.
Big 20.
Does nothing.
Yeah, today's your last day being 19.
Thankfully.
Yeah. And what better way to spend it than here on ChampTalk?
With Renzo.
Obviously.
Make sure you check out our social medias. Make sure you check out Newman Media. We're going to be constantly updating. Check out our YouTube where you can watch this live. Or not live, but you can watch it with our cameras and all that. So this is ChampTalk signing out. Brendan Bosky.
Renzo Garone.
And have a good rest of your day.